Yo, what's up lads, you with Budget Monk, and I'm going to do a video here discussing about just exactly how overpowered the Holy Roman Empire actually is, and basically a reason why I don't actually enjoy playing the Holy Roman Empire any longer, because personally I'm a player who doesn't enjoy exploiting, and the summary is basically that the HRE is an exploiter's playground. And so I'm going to try to demonstrate that here today. I'm playing on normal difficulty and using the console commands to just really cheat. I've gotten really far ahead in technology and unlocked a ton of reputation from idea groups. I just played until Hungary actually has a monarch so we can be elected the emperor. And I'm simply going to go ahead and start allying electors, which we can do very easily due to the fact our rep is so high. They're extremely powerful. And we should find that we get voted here with relative ease. So obviously if you have to get elected the emperorship in this case, guys, and this is the real something that I really want to showcase is being outside of the empire and being elected the emperor. So as Hungary, if we look at our missions, you get permanent claims on Wallachia and Moldavia. And what I do, let's just integrate these nations, is I actually full annex and then release Wallachia. That's my personal preference. With the permanent claims and then releasing, it costs you no Diplo points, no admin points in the early game to make that move. It's a little bit AE heavy to do that, but he's an Orthodox nation, so you can get away with it. And speaking of which, it means that you don't have to actually stabilize this region. So subjects are strong in the early game, and the only downside to making that play is that, well, you have to incorporate him later and he costs a Diplo point. But that's my preference regardless. And then you'd be looking at fighting Poland one way or another, who most likely has Moldavia, by surrounding him with diplomacy. Normally Muscovy is the one to help you out. So nothing out of the unusual here. We want to take Moldavia, as it's actually one of our missions to come down here, which gives you the personal union casus belli against Poland. So definitely want to be doing that. Now, what I'm going to do, and this is fundamentally important, actually, let's wait till we get elected the emperor. So with that in mind, let's work on these guys' votes. We're not getting them just yet. Let's go ahead and do a scornful insult. Let's see. Looks like the Mainz is the next closest. No, the Palatinate. Scornful insult here. Okay, so hopefully some royal marriages and we're good. Now I'm going to kill Austria basically as soon as we have these votes. So this will take no time at all. Okay, looking good on 3 votes right now. Let's strengthen our government. That should help a little bit. Very good. Let's just wait for the votes to switch over to us. Okay. So we have 4 votes, and again, you would have to actually ally these guys. You'd have to actually build your rep up legitimately and steal the votes from Austria. But it's definitely plausible. Now, upon that being done, let's just go ahead and integrate Habsburg, which kills his ruler and makes us elected the emperor. Now, what are you looking at here? This is something people might not be familiar with, but I've been in this situation many times before, and this is, as you can see, it's unlawful territory. Why is this unlawful? It's under the emperor. It's because ourselves here, as the emperor, are currently not inside of the empire. Okay, so we occupy Austria. This still is purple, representing who the emperor is. But we are a non-member of the empire. Our ruler, Janos, has been elected emperor despite Hungary not being inside of the empire. So, as the emperor, we can actually join the Holy Roman Empire despite being too large to otherwise join. Now, when a nation joins the Holy Roman Empire, you gain 5 imperial authority. And it's actually one of the few ways to gain imperial authority nowadays, because since the rework, because you don't gain imperial authority by adding land or territory. So if we were to join the empire, what would happen? It adds all of your available land. However, you can see that this area here is actually not going to be available to be added to the empire because of this bottleneck that we have created. So I was showcasing this as Hungary because it's pretty straightforward here, and we're not doing anything unusual until this moment where I moved my capital. So in order to really do this, you're going to want to move your capital to somewhere where it cannot be added to the empire, so that therefore it is not added to the empire when you supposedly join the empire. And upon doing that, you will see that we gain 5 imperial authority, and we added everything that we could, and as you can see, we added everything excluding our capital, and still are not a member of the empire. So basically, under this circumstance, what that means is as long as you keep this gap closed here, now I will talk about moving your capital. Currently, there is no restriction to moving your capital, apart from moving it to a colonial nation. That is actually how it works nowadays. You pay, some monarch points, and that's it. It's done. You can move it anywhere, and that's what you would need to do. And that's the only price you would have to pay to be in this circumstance. What's going on? Where if we integrate Croatia as Hungary, oh look, we can join the empire and get 5 imperial authority. If we took one province from Bosnia, let alone full annex them, if we took one province and short truced him, we could join the empire. If we took one province from Serbia, let alone full annex them and short truce them, we could join the empire. You could do one province short truce for 5.5, 6 years. One province short truce. Do you get the point? And you gain 5 imperial authority for every single province. We'll integrate hers. I don't know why, like everything's like freaking out for me right now. I just lagged like crazy. What is his tag's name? Let's go to debug mode. I think you guys get the point, but it doesn't stop there. As we could, for example, we could seize land from Wallachia. As you become very powerful with your force limit. Now you would have to core it. Obviously, we're cheating like crazy. You would have to core it, but yeah. That doesn't cost you any aggressive expansion. We core that. It's 5 imperial authority. So this is just a basic example, guys, as to how exploitable the HRE is. It's actually, like many mechanics in EU4, it seems like you're dodging exploits. You have to avoid exploiting, because you will exploit left, right, and center. So that's an example as to why I am no longer actually a big fan of the Empire, and in my current run as a one-province miner, where I'm trying to have the strongest game humanly possible, I do have to actually incorporate forming the HRE into my run to basically unify all of this land that can potentially be added to the Empire. And I am deliberately having a bad game as opposed to a good game, just because it is so cheesy and so strong and so easy to exploit. And that is just one example. So funnily enough, this is created from when they reworked the Holy Roman Empire mechanic. And I would say that looking at this panel here, do you see this ugly stain? I mean, this is the 8th elector that can be created somewhere around here. You can create another elector. So I've been playing this game for over 1,000 hours since they made this patch, and not a single time has this ever been filled. And in fact, I don't think it ever would be filled unless the player did it. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of symbolic of they basically reworked the HRE page and made it worse. And that's kind of symbolic of the Holy Roman Empire in general. I do like the fact that they added provinces to the game and nations. Very cool. But they basically made the HRE mechanics even worse, in my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you are happy to exploit, and you could do that as any nation, not just Hungary. But it's important to isolate your capital. I hope you guys enjoy messing around with the Holy Roman Empire if this benefits you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.